Colts lose a season-opening game for the 8th straight year. Tough loss today. Didn't play that good. Didn't play a complete game. Typical Colts loss. But we're going to hear what Frank Reich has to say about it. This should be interesting.
All right. Tough week 1 loss against a very good football team, well-coached team. Really disappointed, obviously. A lot of prep goes into this, a lot of anticipation into week 1. And so it hurts. I mean, it hurts for our players. I know it also hurts for our fans. We really want to give this one to our fans.
Especially at home.
And to our owner.
Open the season with a win,
deal,
finally.
really
Guys, we're so used to going 0-1.
So we just got to learn from it and get better. But I give Seattle a lot of credit. We knew coming in, what kind of team this was.
Russell Wilson looked elite
what
today,
we said
by the
in the
way.
locker room
This new
was
offense in
when
Seattle,
you play a good football team, the margin of error is thin.
They could do something crazy.
The margin of error is thin. So, and we just made a few too many mistakes to beat a good football team. So give them credit. No injuries to report.
That's big.
Frank, did you
that is
expect
so
your
good.
offensive line to have that much of a problem today?
I can't really, Zach, I have to watch the film. I mean, at times it seemed okay, but, I really have to see the tape to see what was going on.
Was it 15 times, and sacked 4 times.
Yeah, and that's,
Four
like
sacks,
I said,
man.
I have to watch the tape. There's a lot that goes into
Wentz
it.
looked good, but he didn't have a lot of time to make a lot of things
I will
happen.
give you a full update once I watch the tape on the play and the protection of pass protection of offensive line. Just too hard to tell. And the reason I say there's 1 or 2 times where, there were things I felt like aren't the O-line's fault. So before we go that route, I just needed to digest
I want to know
the
what
whole
those
tape.
plays were.
What was your takeaway on Carson in general in his play?
I thought there was a lot of good. I thought he seemed comfortable.
Carson
the
looked good,
operation,
man. He really did.
Seemed fine. It wasn't a perfect game, obviously.
Stayed
There's
poised.
some mistakes,
Made a
but
couple plays with his
every one
feet,
of us,
which
so we all got to get better.
is really cool to see as a Colts fan.
For that 4th down, with the 10-minute mark there, what can you just kind of explain that decision and what the variables
It was a
were?
big decision.
I mean, when it was 3rd and 10, we were going to kick the. If we didn't, depending on what happened, we were going to kick a field goal if it was 4th or 5 or more, 4th or 6 or more. But once we got under 5,
set.
just felt like we had a good play. We didn't get to what it didn't come out the way it was supposed to, as far as we had to check on, and we had a miscommunication on something and didn't get to where we needed to get to.
Miscommunication.
Well, I was going to ask you how that play unfolded. I mean, I think Braden got beat on that from the right side there. Is that kind of what led to that play falling apart, or was it more than that?
I'll have to see it, Stephen. I mean, like I said, really.
I want to ask that question.
We just
he has to go back and
look
see
at it.
that.
I mean, there was just a miscommunication. I'll just leave it at that for right now.
What is your decision in that goal with Carson in the shotgun, 4th and 2?
That's what I was wondering. Why the shotgun call? Why the shotgun handoff?
Because sometimes, Mike, with Carson, because he's a threat to run the ball, all that quarterback read stuff, sometimes that slows down the backside for defenses. There were times in this game where they were chasing pretty hard from the backside. When you have a quarterback who's mobile and can run, and you're in the gun and you're handing stuff off, they always have to worry about him keeping it a little bit. So that's a little bit of it. It just depends on other times. It just depends on the ball handling on the play. Is there advantage? Some plays there's
that's
an
a good
advantage
answer.
to being
kind
under
of breaks
the
it
center.
down why he
As far as the ball
decided
handling,
to do
other
that, I
plays,
guess.
it really doesn't matter whether you're in gun or under center as far as the ball handling and how it hits and how the running back sees it. So that's always a case-by-case basis.
That's interesting.
What did you see from the defense?
I thought, obviously, in the second half, they played lights out. I mean, made some adjustments. I don't know everything that they did to all of a sudden, slow them down as much as we did. But they did a good job.
There's
and then
something
really
about
in the first half, Russell Wilson he makes plays. That's what he does. He's been doing that for a long time. Obviously the one that hurt was the long one. We got him.
Yeah.
We got him in a long yardage, 2nd and long or whatever it was. And,
2nd and 20.
That turn of events right there, the drive that we had on offense hurt. We had a 3rd and 5 or 3rd and 6, and we just missed to Mo. And then we just missed Mo. And then they turn around and then they score. I felt like that was a pretty big swing right there. You know, like
The defense
we
just
could've
can't
kept
start
something
out
going,
so
but
slow,
we, you know,
man.
we
It was
just-
our big problem
just a
last
little
year. They
tick
can't
off.
always
I
have
mean,
to
when
play
you throw
from
it deep like
behind
that, you're not going to
because
hit
they'll
every
come
one,
out in the second
and
half
we just missed it.
and
think it's fair.
dominate,
I mean,
get turnovers,
it's
get
not
sacks,
like
get
they
three
didn't
and
have a lot of
outs.
time to practice together with
It's
some
just
of
so
their
night and
players.
day with this
And again,
defense
I'm not
every
saying
single
excuse,
game.
but
I
is
don't
it fair to say
understand it.
that could be part of the reason things didn't go as well today.
Yeah, and
I wish
listen,
I knew what that guy said. I was talking over. That's
I'm
my
not
bad.
ready to just dump this thing and say the offensive line played bad. You know, so forgive me for that, but I need to see the film. I understand what it looked like. I also understand there's a lot that goes into it. I'm not saying that they can't get better. I think we all can. So I'm just gonna, you know, I'll dive into the film and
The
then we'll
left
make a
tackle
more
position
full
just sucks,
evaluation
man. Eric
once we do
Fisher.
that.
We don't want to rush him back, but we
Your guys
can't wait for him to
were
come
ready
back.
to go today?
Yeah,
We'll get
I do.
back.
I mean, I think we played really hard. I think we played really hard. I think at times, you know,
And Seattle's a good team.
felt
We
like we
talk
were
about it
moving
on,
it
like
on
all the
offense at
time
times,
on
and
our
on defense,
podcast.
we
It's a tough opponent. We got the
holding down
Rams
a good
next
offense
week.
at times.
We got to go
gave
against
up a
Aaron
few too
Donald
many plays,
next week. Like it's
you
gonna
know,
be
on
tough.
defense, and then on offense, we
Just
just
gotta
had
execute.
about 4 or 5 critical plays that we just, you know, either we didn't coach it well enough, or we didn't execute it well enough, or we didn't scheme it up well enough, that some opportunities missed. And like I said in there, and like I said at the beginning, when you play a good football team, you just can't miss that many. You might can miss 1 or 2, but you just can't miss the number
Yeah.
that we missed.
That's spot on.
Given the
That's what we were saying when we were watching it
importance
live.
that the owner put on this game, is there something that I don't know? What can you say to him? Because obviously he'll be disappointed.
Yeah, I mean, it's, you know, I mean, he's disappointed as he should be, and I'm disappointed. You know, I wanted to hand it to him. You know, wanted to hand him that win. Thought we were going to. I really am shocked that we're not standing here talking about that. So, but you know, life is everybody, right? Life is full of disappointments, and it was extremely disappointing. We did not perform well enough to get a win on a home opener.
He's not wrong.
So we got to own that as coaches and players, and
least he
learn
knows
from
it.
it and get better. I mean, it's a long way to go. I mean, it's 1 week, and I know the expectations are
week,
high
too.
around here, but it's still only week 1. And I'm not saying that to diminish how much it hurts or to diminish or
Hey,
make
man.
an excuse for us not playing well enough to win a game against a good football team, but it is what it is.
I like that answer. It is week 1. Like, it's just so crazy what happens because you have that such long off season and everything gets built up. Your fan base, everyone's building up, and then when you lose week 1, it's just like you go from here before the game and then bottom as far as you can go to the bottom. So we'll see, man. Colts got a lot of work. We'll talk about it in the podcast.